Hey, you geeks! With all the hype about the new Dresden Files book coming out, I figured I should see what all the fuss was about. Stormfront is the essence of distilled gruff. Gruff is, of course, the opposite of fluff. Fluff is beach outings, ice cream, and kittens. Gruff is underground ale and also kittens. It's the sort of book where I can smell the testosterone oozing from my earbuds.
It's part man smell, and the other part is really bad man smell. I don't know why, but overall it just smells like the color brown. Your thoughts?
It achieves everything it sets out to be, a paperback thriller, which was pretty entertaining. The mystery wasn't terribly difficult to solve. I figured it out long before Dresden, only because I knew he was in a detective story. A very predictable detective story. But that's not exactly a bad thing. The joy of watching shows like Columbo or Castle isn't the mystery itself, it's watching the cast flounder with the mystery.
Oh, there's one more thing, sir.
And Dresden flounders epically. Considering it came out 20 years ago, some parts have aged better than others, including the awkward chapter breaks on the audiobook. They must have messed up transferring it from CD back to MP3 or something. But all in all, it was a fine way to spend an evening. And now for my spoilerific book breakdown. Characters. This is not the sort of story that has character arcs, which is fine by me. Perry Mason never changed. Why should Harry Dresden? Though I did find it odd that Dresden, his bartender, and maybe his warden were the only decent men in his book. Then I realized it's set in Chicago.
He pulls a knife, you pull a gun. He sends one of yours to the hospital, you send one of his to the morgue. That's the Chicago way.
If I didn't utterly despise that city, I would say that the number of distressing damsels Dresden runs into, even damsels who allegedly can take care of themselves, stretches credulity. However, I loathe Chicago. It has distressed me every time I visited. Throw in some magic in the mix, I'll buy it. Butcher does give female characters more variety than, say, Guy Noir.
She walked right in. She was tall and dark. She was a dead ringer for Ava Gardner. Wore a black pinstripe suit that put the boom in the va-va-va-boom.
But Dresden, for a guy who is allegedly bad with women, he certainly cuts quite a swath across Chicago. World building. The book is so dated that it's almost funny. Even knowing in the first scene that Dresden does not get along well with electronics, I wondered why Dresden didn't leave his office when Murphy called him and told him to go to a crime scene. Then it struck me. He was on a landline. The payphones and film canisters only add to Dresden's whole I'm an old-fashioned kind of guy vibe, even though these were supposed to be the newfangled gizmos to which he was accustoming himself. Though now with these rules firmly established, I look forward to seeing him struggle with Wi-Fi and smartphones. The White Council wizarding community is more alluded to than established, handing out sentences called the Doom of Damocles for the non-crime of self-defense is either very stupid or points to some facet of the magical world yet to be explained. It is unquestionably too pretentious to be taken seriously, even if they've got a crazy guy with a sword running around enforcing it. A crazy guy that can be taken out with a chair. I do like the idea of the wizarding world being run by a bunch of college professor types, and then there's Dresden, Scruffy McGruffface. A believable yet amusing contrast. Magic system. Although not as detailed as I would like, the system is easily understandable, drawn from the basic tenets of Western magic practice. It's odd that Dresden's hard magic system is thematically opposed to science. A hard magic system is itself science. Science is the study of repeatable phenomenon in the physical world. Dresden's magic is a series of repeatable phenomena in the physical world. Moving air, brewing potions, and zapping demons are all just about as mystical as getting a printer to work.
Why does it say pepper jam when there is no pepper jam?
It may defy logic, but it's ultimately mechanical. Plot. It's been a while since I read a book with such blatant sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Butcher's recipe for tension seems to be, let's remove some clothes. I think that's a rather cheap trick. The brilliance of movies like Casablanca come from working the dark themes into the story with innuendo.
What a fool I was to fall for a man like
So
you.
go with her, Sasha, and be sure she gets home.
Yes, boss.
And come right back.
Yes, boss.
Subtlety is not in Dresden's vocabulary. The grotesque double homicide in Chapter 2 makes that very clear. You just know as soon as Dresden brews a love potion that it will get swallowed at an inconvenient time. When a demon toad attacks on his date night is an inconvenient time, especially when Butcher placed Dresden in the shower. Honestly, who showers during a thunderstorm? You can get electrocuted doing that. I suppose Dresden would be fine. The ensuing shenaniganery proves that. I would be more sympathetic to Dresden if he had at least good reasons for pushing everyone away. The whole I can't tell you the truth because it would only endanger you line of thinking is utter garbage, and disproven by the plot, as Dresden not telling Murphy places her in greater danger a la freak scorpion attack. I don't know why he thinks the police officer whose job it is to deal with the supernatural would not believe in the supernatural. When Murphy interviewed Madame Bianca, Dresden had the perfect opportunity to tell her that Bianca was a vampiress. But no, he just had to go for the sultry red herring by himself. Same can be said about Linda Randall, although she ended up a bit more red than sultry. The drugs were a nice layer. I knew when Dresden read about them in the paper they would come up later, but he and I put that piece together at about the same time. It wasn't a surprise, but a satisfactory moment. As for the ultimate villain, everyone who knew it was Monica's husband from Chapter 1, please like this video. That should be all 5 of you still watching. True to its genre, Stormfront's doll-faced damsel is in fact in cahoots with the big bad.
I have a terrible, terrible confession to make. That story I told you yesterday was just a story.
It was a nice twist to make her sympathetic. Her backstory of abuse and wanting to protect her children gives Stormfront some semblance of simplicity to balance out all of the crazy. I do like the crazy. It's stupid, but it's fun stupid. Dresden Files Stormfront is like a wooden roller coaster. Despite its limited bag of tricks, it's still a fun ride. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you would like to see more. Your patronage is greatly appreciated.